She'll kill him eventually.
On track to give final approval around midday today to a $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure plan. Ohio Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown says it's a good bill for Ohio.
It's about better bridges and highways, getting people in Southeast Ohio the broadband they need to go to school and prepare for the jobs of the future.
Support in the House is uncertain. Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she wants to see the Senate do more in other funding areas before taking up infrastructure in the House. I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network.
Calls and conversations continue in less than 3 minutes as the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues after this.
Toyota's national sales event is happening now with savings and reliability you can count on. So check out an adventure-ready gas model RAV4 or a spacious Highlander that seats up to 8, both with up to $750 cash back. Or an all-wheel drive Venza hybrid, now with $1,000 cash back. Visit buyatoyota.com for more great deals. You can take cash back or apply toward down payment. Offers may vary for hybrid models. See your dealer for details. Offers end September 7th. Toyota, let's go places.
A serious injury from an accident can be just the start of your worries. What if you cannot return to work? How do you take care of your family if you're disabled? At Gelner Law Offices, we represent seriously injured people and understand their problem. We know how to get you fair compensation. We will work hard to make sure you get the money you deserve for your losses. Don't go it alone. If you're hurt in an accident, call us at 304-242-2900 or visit us at gelnerlaw.com.
We'd like to help.
The celebration begins Friday, August 13th at Wheeling's Heritage Port with live music. Celebrate 20 years of the Heritage Music Blues Fest. This year's Blues Fest features blues superstars Ronnie Earl and the Broadcasters, 2021 Traditional Blues Grammy winner Bobby Rush, the Rock and Blues of Indigenous and Anna Popovich, and up-and-coming blues superstars Davey Knowles and Hannah Wickland, and many more. Heritage Music Blues Fest, Friday, August 13th through Sunday, August 15th. Tickets and info at heritagemusicfest.com.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
This is a big deal. Now, at healthcare.gov, millions more people can afford health coverage. Due to the COVID relief law, 4 out of 5 customers can get a plan for under $10 a month with financial help. From doctor visits to preventive services to prescription drugs, these are quality plans. You can do this. Sign up by August 15th for a health plan. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Have you ever thought about having a podiatric physician examine your feet? Doctors of podiatric medicine set broken bones, perform wound care, and remove bunions. Common health issues that they treat include ingrown or fungal nails, corns, warts, and skin problems like athlete's foot. Foot exams are easy and can prevent many problems. If you can't walk, work, or enjoy sports activities without pain, what are you waiting for? To find a podiatric physician who is a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the storm tracker, Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your Tuesday. Mix of sun and clouds with a scattered shower of thunderstorms possible. A daytime high of 87. Showers potential through the evening and the overnight, otherwise partly cloudy. Temperatures down to 74 for the low. A mix of sun and clouds for your Wednesday. Chance of a late day shower or storm. Highs near 87 degrees. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
All right, listen up, you guys. Morning. It's Tuesday.
Today is Tuesday. I am loving the sound of your voice.
Good morning, sunshine.
Crank up the radio.
You all ready for the big show? Happy Tuesday, everybody.
And action. Okay, let's do it. Hey, guys. You ready to let the dogs out?
All right, let's do this.
Yes, we are ready to let the dogs out.
Well, what are we waiting for?
It's showtime.
Opinions, rants, commentary, and interviews. Plus, your complete morning news, weather, and sports. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe in the 100 Days of Summer.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is a Tuesday, and it's not going to be a pool day now. We're going to see some clouds, we're going to see some rain, scattered showers, thunderstorms possible. Another hot one. I'm going to go up into the upper 80s, maybe not 90, but close to it, 87, the predicted high. Currently, 72 degrees, Wheeling, Ohio County Airport, clear skies there. We're looking at 71 and foggy here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling. Got a lot I want to get into today over a number of different things. COVID still stays in our news. COVID cases, hospitalizations, and deaths are dramatically higher now in West Virginia than they were the same time last year. But a clearly concerned Governor Justice still says he feels no need for mask mandates or school policy revisions to be put into place. We'll talk about a wide range of COVID stories coming up in just a tad. National correspondent Tom Squitieri looks at mandatory vaccinations for the military and at the Taliban movement in Afghanistan as American troops are pulling out. It's time to start our back-to-school talk. Albert Lawrence is the technology correspondent for the CBS show Innovation Nation, and he's going to join us to look at how to keep your students safe digitally when they head off to school. Also, some new apps and new tech that your kids may be looking for, the hot new stuff technology-wise as kids get back into school. We'll also talk about why parents are looking for a return to school, and we'll take a look at the anxiety that some kids are feeling. I got all of that as we begin a series, as we always do this year, of back-to-school interviews. And we'll continue talking about Governor Justice's several pro-coal appointments recently to energy oversight agencies. Delegate Evan Hansen is going to join us here in just a minute. We talked last week about the fact that Bill Rainey, former head of the West Virginia Coal Association, was tapped to join the Public Service Commission in West Virginia, which has a real direct bearing on coal-fired power plants and coal issues for sure. And then over the weekend, in a bit of a surprise move, the governor reauthorized something called the Public Energy Authority. It has been dormant for about a decade. It was created back in the 80s by Governor Arch Moore to build coal-fired power plants. It eventually kind of went out of existence, kind of revitalized a bit under Senator Manchin, but really hasn't done much at all in the last decade. So Governor Justice reauthorizes the Public Energy Board, and he puts another major coal lobbyist, Chris Hamilton, among others, on that energy board, along with several other pro-coal people. Charlie Bird, executive director of the Gas and Oil Association. Jeff Allen, an executive who's with Mineral Resource Company. Jeff Herdholt, who is former director of the Division of Energy and former chairman of the Energy Authority. They all seem to have extraction industry background, which maybe is appropriate for the Public Energy Board, but has been raising the question by me, if by nobody else, when you have a coal operator / governor who was already in serious financial trouble with his businesses, creating and stacking the deck for state agencies with pro-coal, or at least pro-extraction industry people, is there any conflict of interest, or at least a clear appearance of conflict of interest there? So we've been talking about it a good bit. I want to continue that conversation. West Virginia Delegate Evan Hansen from Montague County is also an economic and environmental consultant in his day job, and I wanted to get some thoughts from him on this. Delegate Hansen, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
You think that is the governor getting a little trigger happy on pro-coal stuff here?
Well, it certainly seems like that to me. I think West Virginians want an all-the-above energy strategy, but it needs to be grounded in reality. And it needs to be grounded in the reality that we were faced with yesterday with that major climate change report that came out, that the future is not going to look like the past. And, coal's been good to West Virginia for decades, but there's going to be less and less of it burned in the future. And doubling down on coal right now is not a great economic development strategy.
There's nuance to your statement, which I think an awful lot of folks in this state don't like to think about. And Governor Justice, in his comments this week, clearly doesn't want to recognize that nuance. The governor made some comment when asked about these movements he's made recently. He made some comment about, well, anybody who thinks we can do without coal and gas is just ridiculous and foolish. The issue doesn't boil down to, are coal and gas going to be cut off and gone away and forgotten about forever and ignored? The issue is, what are we realistically looking forward to in the future, and where will coal's position be there as opposed to where it's been in the past? It's an issue of nuance and priorities, not total exclusion. I mean, that's the way I look at it. Do you?
That's the way I look at it, too. I mean, there's a few ways to think about this. One is, we have fewer and fewer coal-fired power plants across the country and fewer in West Virginia. And the debate over those coal-fired power plants in West Virginia is not whether they're going to shut down, it's when they're going to shut down. Are they going to shut down in the 2020s, or are they going to shut down in the 2030s? That's really where we are with coal-fired power plants in the country. There are no new coal-fired power plants that are likely to be built because of climate change. And what we need is for our state leaders and the governor to recognize the urgency of addressing climate change. I'd like to hear him say those words, climate change. Recognize the urgency of it and position West Virginia so that we could capture some of these thousands and thousands of new jobs in energy industries that will be created as states adopt to that new reality. We're not going to capture those new jobs if we double down on the coal industry. We're going to capture them if we're open to new types of energy.
Isn't that part of what the trouble is? Folks have a hard time grasping that, for example, up here in the upper Ohio Valley, the specific issue is the Mitchell Power Plant. And it still is unclear what's going to happen to that because we have the split ruling from the Kentucky PSC and the West Virginia PSC on whether West Virginia says you should stay up until 2040, and the Kentucky plant says, Kentucky PSC 2028. They both own 50% of the plant, so still a lot of figuring out before we figure out what happens with that plant. A lot of local folks, including most politicians here locally, are urging save the plant, keep it open as long as possible, because it means jobs. What I think we miss, and you alluded to this, Delegate, is that as in any industry, when the old jobs go away, new jobs come, and I don't think folks yet have come to accept the reality that there can be new jobs in various forms of alternative and new energy.
It's true. keep in mind that the debate over the Mitchell power plant, which I appreciate because we do want as many power plant jobs as possible, the debate over Mitchell is not whether or not it's going to stay open, but how soon it's going to close. And so you have these state leaders that are trying to make our future look like our past, and our past, frankly, didn't look that good. Like, even if we do keep the Mitchell power plant open for an extra 5 or 10 years, that's great for those workers. It's great for the region, but that doesn't move us forward. That just keeps us where we've been in the past. And West Virginia has not been doing very well in the past. We've been losing more population than any other state in the country. So we need to do things a little bit different. And the path forward with energy is so clear because we could just look at what neighboring states have done and what states across the country have done that have captured these thousands of jobs. They're there for the taking. We just need to have forward-looking policies that make it clear that we are doing what we can to accept those jobs here and not keeping them out.
There are some rays of hope for alternative energy that we see popping up in West Virginia. Excuse me, usually from small private sector companies, not with any public policy behind them, but there are solar companies in the state trying to make headway and making some headway. There are alternative energy offerings being handled here in the state, but again, just without the benefit of public policy behind them.
Well, that's true in a sense. There are some private companies that have expanded greatly in the last few years, installing solar and et cetera, and kudos to them because they're working in a somewhat hostile policy environment. But we did pass a couple of good bills in the last couple of sessions that are making a difference. But one is the bill that allows each of our major electric utilities to develop a significant amount of solar, and they're moving forward with their first solar developments now. So soon, businesses and individuals are going to be able to purchase solar electricity from their utilities if they choose to do so. And we did that 2 sessions ago. And then what we did last session was we passed a bill that allows for companies to come in and pay for a solar installation on your rooftop so that you don't have to pay for it, but you could immediately start saving money once the solar is installed. That's called power purchase agreements, and they were illegal in West Virginia until we passed that bill last session.
And is there more the legislature could do? Do you think there's more the legislature could do as time goes by to encourage a moderated, what's the word I'm looking for here? I can't think of the right word, but a modulated switch from the extraction industries to other forms of alternative energy?
There's so much more that we could do. I was proud of what we did the last couple sessions because even those would not have passed 5 years ago. But frankly, they're baby steps compared to what we could be doing and how many more jobs we could be bringing into West Virginia. You look at neighboring states like Virginia and their Clean Economy Act, and they're having a major transformation of where they get their electricity. But what they're also doing is creating thousands and thousands of jobs. And these are good union construction jobs. These are all types of jobs as they transform their energy system and address climate change. Recognize this new reality that we're in, where there's going to be fewer and fewer fossil fuels that are burned over time.
But does the coal industry still have too much sway in the legislature to make too many major changes in our approach?
I guess we're going to see. The 2 bills that I mentioned that we passed in the last couple sessions, the Coal Association lobbied hard against them both, and they lost that effort. Both of those bills passed. So I think there's a little bit of a crack that we're starting to see now because there's recognition among some people in both parties that we need to do things a little bit differently. That being said, the Coal Association still has an outsized influence in the legislature compared to the amount of jobs and revenue that they bring in.
The reading between the lines and some of the comments that AEP has made after the reauthorization of the Public Energy Board, I get the sense they're not quite sure what's going on here either. I'm looking at one quote from an AEP spokesman that was in the Metro News story that they posted yesterday. It's been more than a decade since the Public Energy Authority was last active, and a lot has changed since then, says AEP. We look forward to learn more about what these plans are. I think that phrase, a lot has changed since then, holds a lot of interesting power. A lot has changed since then. This is not
well,
the... Go ahead.
Yeah, a lot has changed. And one thing that's changed is even utilities like AEP that had a very coal-heavy portfolio are committed to being carbon neutral within a couple of decades. And they can't do that while continuing to burn coal. And so, AEP and then the utilities up in my part of the state, Mon Power, First Energy Utilities, even those heavy coal users are transitioning away from coal. And so that's one thing that's just so puzzling to me too, is that this transition is happening. I'm not saying you should like it or not, but it's happening. And reauthorizing this board and getting distracted by trying to raise people's hopes that we'll be able to burn more and more coal to generate electricity in the future, that's puzzling to me too, because it's not going to happen.
I can't help, though, but throw in this, at least as a comment, if not a question that you may want to respond to, but this all is going on, the appointment of Bill Rainey to the PSC, which now has a majority of members that are pro-coal, two of whom came out of the Washington Coal Association. The reauthorization of the Public Energy Board, Chris Hamilton and others now on that board, very pro-coal and extraction industries, gas is in there as well. I can't help but note that it happens at a time when the governor, who is a coal operator, is facing financial problems, and his attorney has said that his hope to get out of the financial problems is to increase his coal business. There's a cynic in me, Delegate Hansen, that suggests that maybe these aren't unrelated.
Well, I can't tell you what's in the governor's heart and mind, but I could tell you that there certainly is a perceived conflict of interest there, if not something more significant. Based on the reports that I've read, he's been heavily leveraged in terms of expectations that the coal industry is going to expand in the future. But the unfortunate reality, at least for using coal for electricity generation, is that it's not going in that direction.
Well, I appreciate your time this morning. I want to get some different takes on this, and I appreciate you dropping in to join us here. I know you've got some things to handle this morning in your own world, so thank you for being here. Thanks for giving us your perspective. We may chat again in the near future. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks a lot. Have a good day.
Thank you. Delegate Evan Hansen from Mon County, who is also an environmental and economic consultant with downstream strategies in his private life. I wanted to try and get some thoughts from someone in office who maybe has a different perspective than coal. And over the years, I've taken a lot of flack for my stand on coal because I am not anti-coal miner by any stretch, nor am I really anti-coal company other than when they abuse their miners. But I'm also a realist. The reality is that industries change, and coal is no longer king coal. Its percentage of employment in our state is dramatically lower than it was once upon a time. Across the country, the burning of fossil fuels is beginning to become looked on with anathema. And nobody wants to, I shouldn't say nobody because there are some, of course. I don't want to say no coal. I'm not saying dump coal tomorrow. We're going to close all the power plants and we're going to stop digging. I'm not saying that. But I am saying we have got to come to realize that coal is a declining industry. And yes, it has its slight ups and slight downs, and I think we're in a little up right now. But it is a declining industry. It is moving out. I've said this before, I've gone through it in my own industry. What the radio broadcasting industry was like when I got started ain't nothing like what it is today. There are jobs that were available and filled the rooms when I started in the business back in the late 60s and early 70s that don't exist in the broadcasting business anymore. And people have fought it tooth and nail. And I understand it. And whenever I read any of the broadcasting trade magazines, there are still people who say the answer is to go back and be the way we used to be. We aren't ever going back to being the way we used to be. And to take it out of my personal experience, and we can talk about, the people who made horseshoes, the blacksmiths who made horseshoes once upon a time, when them thar newfangled cars were coming along. Them horseless carriages, they're just a fad. They're a fad. We're going to work hard to preserve the blacksmith industry so we can shoe more horses. Till eventually, the blacksmiths went away because we weren't riding horses anymore. You got to accept the change in industry. And then help to guide it and lead it and make it as minimally painful as possible. And we're not doing that. So I think here in West Virginia, I'm looking at this from two perspectives. Number one is the same thing I've said for years. We've got to accept that coal is no longer the industry that that is going to hold us together. It is just not. It's not. From a state policy point of view, undying support for coal, just shoveling money at them, forcing them to stay open, which is forcing power plants to stay open, forcing them when they don't want to, because that way they'll burn more coal. That's just ridiculous. It's asinine. It is bad public policy. But the second thing that I continue to harp on this past week is there seems to be some serious conflict of interest in some of these more recent decisions by Governor Justice. Governor Justice is a coal operator in financial trouble who his attorney has said, the way we're going to get out of this, we're going to make sure that the coal industry improves. Our coal sales improve. A coal business gets better. And then the governor uses the power of his office to stack the PSC with pro-coal people and to expand, reauthorize, and then stack the board with pro-coal people, this public energy agency. So philosophically, policy-wise, I think we've got to acknowledge, and always I've said, we've got to acknowledge there is a change, but as a practical matter, we also got to look at what's the governor doing here? How much of this is conflict of interest? All right, round number one of the show up and done already. 7:32, 28 till the hour. We're looking at 70 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 72 here at my, let me look at this, sorry, other way around. Didn't have in front of me. 72 at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport, and 71 here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling. 70 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. We'll talk COVID. The COVID numbers are, I want to share with you the comparison of COVID cases, hospitalizations, and deaths right now, as of yesterday, with the same day last year. It is dramatic in their difference, and it's dramatic in a bad way. We'll talk about that coming up, and we'll do all of that after Zach has weather, and that all comes up after we go to the news desk for a complete update from our friends at the Big Seven and some sports with Billy DeFabio.
The WTRF Channel 7 News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Now it.
Nancy?
Stay tuned to find out who's walking away with the grand prize of more than $1 million. Although the vaccine sweepstakes are coming to a close, state health officials are still urging West Virginians to get their shots. Since Friday, the Mountain State has logged more than 1,000 new cases. Active cases have risen back up to more than 4,000. The governor says the only thing that makes good sense is to just get vaccinated. As of this morning, only 57% of eligible West Virginians 12 and older are fully vaccinated. Looking in Belmont County, a 46-year-old man has been sentenced to 4.5 years in prison. Brian Ramsey entered 2 guilty pleas for aggravated vehicular assault and failure to stop at the scene of an accident. The charges stem from an incident on February 2nd. Authorities say Ramsey reportedly ran his cousin over with a pickup truck after both men left the True Sportsman Club in Jacobsburg in separate vehicles. Ramsey's attorney spoke out in court about the incident. That was a look at your headlines. Have a great day, everyone.
The Pirates are back at action when they host the St. Louis Cardinals tonight at PNC Park. In their last 10 games, the Pirates are 3-7. They've been outscored by 28 runs. The team batting average is .229. Ouch. Well, due to a contract situation, T.J. Watt is not practicing with his teammates. He has yet to sign a long-term deal. Meanwhile, his teammates continue to prepare for the preseason game coming up Thursday night in Philadelphia against the Eagles. Well, 73-year-old Mike Lang is retired as the Penguins announcer. Lang spent 50 years in the broadcast booth, and I loved hearing some of his signature calls and clever phrases.
Oh, scratch my back with a hacksaw. Oh, Lord Stanley, get me the brandy. And ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has just left the building. Tunis with a...
Yes, Mike Lang has just left the building. I'm Bill DeFabio on sports, and we are the Watchdog.
This is Hoppy Kercheval. Join me weekdays at 10 o'clock right after the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe for Talkline. I have guests, conversations, texts, phone calls on all the big stories affecting us in West Virginia. So tune in weekdays right here on FM 98.1 and FM 97.
Injured people.
One. Wait a minute, I got the fan on. Three, two, one.
Till I checked on board.
Every weeknight at 6 p.m., join the voice of the Mountaineers, Tony Caridi, on The Watchdog. Tony informs and entertains WVU fans with the latest Mountaineer sports news. If it happens in the world of gold and blue, Tony knows about it and shares it with you. Sportsline, weeknights at 6 on The Watchdog.
Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 want to thank the owners and contractors of the Ohio Valley for using their locally trained workers to help build for the future. Local 83 helps design, fabricate, and build the gas infrastructure for the oil and gas industry here in the Ohio Valley. Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 is 300 members strong and growing. They also do residential, commercial, and industrial work on both sides of the river. For more information, call Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 at 304-233-4445.
Quaker Steak and Lube at the Highlands is the perfect place to relax after a long day. Happy hour from 3 to 6 Monday through Friday. Get $2 off appetizers, $3 off domestic drafts, and house wine specials. Quaker Steak and Lube, voted Best Wings USA. Quaker Steak and Lube at the Highlands with another steal of a deal. Get a steak burger and fries all day Monday for only $8.99. It's also Military Mondays. The Lube will take 25% off for all veterans, active duty military, and first responders. Quaker Steak and Lube voted Best Wings USA.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Does your company's website work for you? Is it helping attract new clients and improving your brand awareness? If not, or you don't know, contact the team at Omni Strategic Technologies. With expert web developers, they build amazing web experiences that help their clients perform better. Contact Omni at 304-242-7600 or visit them at www.omniperforms.com.
This is a big deal. Now, at healthcare.gov, millions more people can afford health coverage. Due to the COVID relief law, 4 out of 5 customers can get a plan for under $10 a month with financial help. From doctor visits to preventive services to prescription drugs, these are quality plans. You can do this. Sign up by August 15th for a health plan. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Have you ever thought about having a podiatric physician examine your feet? Doctors of Podiatric Medicine set broken bones, perform wound care, and remove bunions. Common health issues that they treat include ingrown or fungal nails, corns, warts, and skin problems like athlete's foot. Foot exams are easy and can prevent many problems. If you can't walk, work, or enjoy sports activities without pain, what are you waiting for? To find a podiatric physician who is a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
Dominating both AM and FM, the Watchdog is AM 1600 and 1370, FM 98.1 and 97.7. We are the Watchdog.
If you miss a part of the show or want to listen again, you can find conversations, interviews, and rants on our podcasts at Apple Podcasts or on WatchdogNetwork.com. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
Always like to remind you, if you're watching us on our Facebook Live video feed, our video cast in the morning, please do a couple of things for me. Hit the like button, if you would, and also hit the share button. Share the video cast to your Facebook page, your news feed, your timeline. If you have a news group or some group on Facebook you're part of that you think would be appropriate for, feel free to share it with that as well. A couple of weeks ago, someone shared this show to the Memories of Wheeling page, and although I actually got a lot of response from that, people said, "Oh, I saw your show, the video on Memories of Wheeling." I'm thinking, that's kind of offensive. It's like, hey, remember this guy from back in the old days? Plenty of money. No, I'm still here. It wasn't an old day kind of thing. Anyway, we're on my Facebook page. We're on the Watchdogs Facebook page. Like us and share us if you can. You can also catch the archives of our video cast always on the YouTube channel, the Watchdogs YouTube channel. And we also reside at watchdognetwork.com. Another easy way to watch us on video. So please, if you want to offer a comment on the video feed comment line, you're welcome to do that. And I try and check those a couple times an hour and share them with folks if you would like to. It is not going to be a swimming day, I don't think, but it's going to have some wetness to it. That's a miserable segue now that I said it out loud. Zach Petty is here from the Big Seven. Good morning, Zach.
Yeah, that's a tough way to follow in, Howard. Good morning to you, though.
Yeah, well, I was trying to be clever, and it really didn't work. I openly admit that fell flat, but it really is not going to be really a pool day today, right?
Hey, it's not going to be a pool day, but it's also not going to be one of those full inside days. You know, it's one of those days where if you're heading out and about, expect to need the umbrella because a scattered shower could pop up on you. But as you head further into the afternoon and evening, a better chance for those showers and storms to develop. But all in all, if there wasn't any real threat for rain, I would call it a pool day just because that high heat is sticking around with temperatures stay maxing out right around 87.
Yeah, hot and humid still today, even though we have a greater chance of rain. And I guess scattered showers early and maybe storms later. Is that the way you're looking at it?
Yeah, that's exactly how I'm looking at it. And Howard, that's even the rinse and repeat type forecast for Wednesday. So we kind of knocked two birds with one stone there. Some scattered showers throughout the morning. We did have some move through early on this morning. Actually, whenever I was walking into work at a prompt 2:40 in the morning. There were some patchy showers that actually moved through Weirton, Fallensby, Steubenville area, as well as down towards New Martinsville, Middleburn, and we're still having some returns on Storm Tracker 7 dual HD Doppler radar, so we're continuing to keep an eye on that. But most of the heavier bands of rain are actually up towards Canton, Worcester, Greene, and Akron, Ohio. As of right now, we're not dealing with a whole lot of rumbles of thunder, but we could see a couple of storms later this afternoon, as well as similar conditions setting up for Wednesday as well.
So again, probably not any real serious rain anyways, but we could have a thunderstorm. It'll be later in the day, late afternoon basically, and then some tomorrow too.
Right, yeah, exactly. So similar conditions too. The high heat and mugginess sticking around on Wednesday with rounds of rain early on, so you might need to just keep the umbrella and have it stick around in your car or in your book bag or your work bag for the rest of this week, because we're going to continue on with chances for rain over the next 5 days even. I asked to throw some rain showers even for Saturday afternoon. I'm not liking how the possible storms are setting up, but we'll hopefully take that away hopefully as the week progresses.
I'm going to roam around mid-80s, give or take some, throughout the week, too. So it's going to be really a warm, muggy, and maybe a little bit of rain throughout the entire next week, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're going to continue on seeing daily rain chances, even Thursday and Friday. Temperatures back in the mid to upper 80s. Dew point temperatures stay in the oppressively muggy category, if not feeling like a tropical air mass. So, Howard, I hope you're enjoying the similar dew point temperatures and mugginess as Nassau, Bahama.
Yes.
So it's essentially a tropical getaway for the entire Ohio Valley, especially because of the moisture and the high heat and the mugginess.
So we can pretend like we're in the Bahamas.
You can exactly that. You can close your eyes, go sit out on the porch, and say, you go sit out even by the pool, and you have the pool waves crashing, and you can pretend like you're sitting by the ocean. You can ask your wife, probably very nicely, if she'll give you a drink, and that could be poolside service.
Yeah. Maybe think that there are palm trees or tropical plants of some kind there. Visualize that in my mind. Yeah.
Uh-huh. You picking up what I'm putting down?
I do, and I open my eyes, and then I'll just be sitting at the pool. But let's say, I'm always big on let's pretend. Let's pretend. Is it going to be muggy the whole period? I look at the temperatures, and I see we're going to be, again, roaming around mid-80s, give or take, all week. Is it going to stay muggy the whole time as well?
Oh, yeah. It'll stay muggy in through Friday.
Okay. All right. There we have it. Showers, maybe thunderstorms today, rinse and repeat tomorrow, and warm and muggy all throughout the week. Do we get a little bit of reprieve on Saturday? Little less mugginess?
Yeah, luckily a cold front's actually going to bring a pretty dominant rain shower forecast for now Friday afternoon. That should provide relief in the mugginess and dropping our temperatures back down to the seasonal levels Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, hopefully clearing out the prominent cloud deck that'll be overhead the next couple of days. So hopefully you were able to enjoy the sunshine early yesterday and enjoy time by the pool, because we're going to have to be dodging raindrops throughout the morning and afternoon the next couple of days, and then more prominence in widespread rain starting Thursday evening through most of the day Friday. But at least the back half of the weekend, start of the next work week, is trending in the right direction, since I like the good trend.
All right, sounds good, Zach. I appreciate it as always, and we will chat with you again tomorrow.
Sounds good. Have a good rest of your Tuesday, gentlemen.
All right, thanks a lot, Zach. Zach from the Big Seven, our morning meteorologist extraordinaire here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Just about 7:50, 10 before the hour, 72, clear at the airport, 71, little bit of fogginess here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling, 70 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. It's Tuesday. Tuesdays, we always have our national correspondent, Tom Squitieri, in with us in the 8 o'clock hour. Tom and I are going to talk about a couple of things primarily. The military is all going to be vaccinated by orders from the top. Some folks aren't keen about that. We're going to talk about that. And we'll continue to take a look at what's happening in Afghanistan as the U.S. pulls troops out and the Taliban begins to take control. And I think we can't stay there forever, but I think we're going to have to accept the reality that there's going to be a downside to the American pullout in Afghanistan for a while. Tom and I will talk about that and more. And the infrastructure bill comes up for a vote today, too. We'll get into that as well. So Tom Squitieri, our national correspondent, coming up in the 8 o'clock hour of the show. 9 o'clock, we'll begin our series of back-to-school interviews. We'll talk with a CBS tech consultant who's going to talk to us about some of the new high-tech things for going back to school, high-tech gadgets, high-tech apps, and also digital security things you might want to think about as your kids go back to school this year. So all of that's coming up a bit later on as well. Stick around. Got a lot of territory yet to cover. Biff, do I have to do a break, or am I okay?
We are okay.
I want to talk about COVID. The COVID numbers are absolutely growing. I forgot to check the math this morning, so I'm not sure how many counties are in the red. I think we've added a couple more. As of 2 days ago, we had 5 counties in the red, and for some reason, I'm thinking that may have gone up, but do not quote me on that because I don't have the current info in front of me. I do have the current info on COVID cases, deaths, and hospitalizations, though. And keep in mind two things. Much of this is the Delta variant, and almost all of it comes from the unvaccinated. But West Virginia's active COVID cases increased by 1,037 as of yesterday, bringing the total cases, active cases right now in West Virginia, to over 4,000. Now, I want to compare that to where we were a year ago. And everybody all of us, myself included, ever since we took off the mask and began to realize we're getting closer to normal, I think we ignore how serious these rises in numbers are. Total active cases in West Virginia today, as of yesterday actually, total active cases, 4,010. Exactly 1 year ago, same day last year, 1,914. More than double the number of cases now in West Virginia than there were a year ago on the same day. Hospitalizations. 1 year ago in the state, 123. Hospitalizations today, 217. Actually, that number went up. That's officially on the chart, but in the governor's briefing yesterday, I think Clay Marsh said the number is actually 269. But my point is more than double, again, more than double the number of hospitalizations this year in West Virginia than the same day last year. And deaths, listen to this number, deaths. COVID deaths this day last year, again, I keep saying this day because this is yesterday's story. COVID deaths a year ago, yesterday, 141. Total COVID deaths yesterday, 2,972. Last year, this time, 43 COVID-19 patients in intensive care unit, 17 who needed ventilators. 43 last year in intensive care. Today, 70 COVID cases in intensive care across the state, 29 needing ventilators. As Governor Justice himself said, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at this and say, we're doing some bad things to ourselves. But the governor, and I'm not sure what I want him to do. I really am not. I don't know that we want to go back to mask mandates. I see the value in vaccinated people not wearing masks. I do. I don't know that we need to mandate masks in school as a statewide universal policy. I don't think. On the other hand, with the rates rising and keeping in mind that young school kids, I'm talking about those under 12, can't be vaccinated, so they are truly open to risk, shouldn't there be some state guidance on this? And that's really a question. It's not a rhetorical question. It's an actual question. The governor says, at this moment, we're not in a position that I believe we need to mandate anything. I'm not there yet. But when you look at the numbers I just shared with you, the dramatic double in all cases, at least, sometimes way more than doubled, the number of people having COVID, the number of people in hospitals with COVID, the number of people dying of COVID, the number of people in intensive care and on ventilators with COVID, all of those double when they were a year ago. Maybe the governor ought to be thinking a little bit more about some statewide policies. Again, that's honestly a question. I'm honestly kind of talking out loud here. I mean, I don't know. Biff, I mean, do you think we ought to be looking at should the governor be looking at particular schools, and particularly younger kids, should we be looking at some mandates of some kind?
No. You let the schools decide and you let people decide.
Yeah.
Leave it up to them. Let the schools decide what they want to do. We've got 55 counties in this state. They're all not the same. Let each county decide what they want to do, and let the parents decide what they want to do with the kids, if they want to mask them or not. Leave it up to them.
I take that without any disagreement at all when we're talking about kids over the age of 12, because they could be vaccinated, and if parents choose not to, although again, it's kids. Parents can make decisions, but when you've got kids that can't be vaccinated, don't we have some responsibility to try to protect them a little bit more aggressively?
I don't think the state does. I think that's the parents. That's up to them.
Well, I think I would disagree with that, but I would go with I think there's a legitimate argument that says it's a school by school decision, not a school by school, but a school district by school district decision. But these numbers are getting dangerous. Do I worry about them? I really don't. No, not for me personally. And my suspicion is Teddy's school will probably have mask mandates, so I think Teddy will be okay. But again, I hate to be this guy. I've said before, Biffy, I'm almost the point. Wearing a mask, I'm vaccinated. The Delta variant, even the Delta variant, would only cause minor problems for me, for you, because we're vaccinated, even if we get it, which we are hopefully not going to. And the people who have to worry are the people who aren't vaccinated, and maybe they don't want to hell with them. But I do worry a lot about the kids. Ohio County, let's see, I think 2 weeks ago the numbers were like in the teens. Last week I think it was 33. The health department this week, when they announced the COVID cases in Ohio County, the number was 57. So it's going up. Marshall County's latest release from yesterday, 20 new positive, 20 probable cases, so probably a total of 49, almost 50 in Marshall County. Marshall County is still, as far as I know, in the red. West Liberty has already said everyone on the campus is going to have to wear masks inside buildings, campus buildings, office buildings, classrooms, labs, and that's regardless of vaccination status. West Liberty is going to has started a mask policy. I think that's a good idea. And a lot of people are starting to change their minds about vaccines, Biff. I talked before about a guy that I know, Phil Valentine, who's a radio talk show host down in Tennessee, conservative host who was lobbying hard. You don't have to get the vaccine. It's not necessary unless you're in a special circumstance. Stay away from this scam. And then he got COVID, and he's in very, very bad condition, has been for a couple of weeks. Another conservative talk show host up in upstate New York, I see this stuff on my trade magazines, that's why I share it with you. Dick Farrell, a talk show host from upstate New York, has been railing against the vaccine, calling it a scamdemic, saying that it's all a liberal put-up deal, this vaccine. He calls it vaccine bogus bullshit. He uses the D there. I said shid. And he says if you get vaccinated, you may get COVID. He died from COVID yesterday. And on his way out, he said, I think I made a mistake. 8 o'clock, Tom Scudieri and I talk about vaccines in the military. That's next after ABC covers the world.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
And in higher numbers. And Joe